what about your own experience in Germany or in the US? Did you encounter this problem of the fees calculation for the internet collection?
If I can talk from the U.S. perspective, in the 1970s, the U.S. also experienced, I think, with the introduction of direct mail, in some cases, and also telemarketing, problems with some commission-based fundraising. And in our standards, at one point in time, there was a call against it. We are a standards-based organization that evaluates charities in the U.S. And in later revisions of our standards, we stepped back from the percentage issue and said, well, you know, the real issue is a large amount of what's collected going to the fundraising company, and that result was something of concern. The method to get there was just another issue. And so our standards eventually addressed, you know, high fundraising cost situations beyond a certain threshold were of concern, whether you got there from commission-based fundraising or just a poorly managed campaign. It was still a similar type of problem in that result. However, I should add that the Association of Fundraising Professionals, which is the largest and oldest trade association of fundraisers in the United States, does have a prohibition in their code of ethics against commission-based fundraising. So the fundraising community overall still really frowns on the idea of commission-based fundraising, although it does exist. And we still have situations in some cases where we see high costs going to telemarketers and direct mail companies, but this is an exception, not the rule, as far as how those things are carried out. I also wanted to comment something about crowdfunding that was said earlier, about project funding, which my colleague to the right was referencing in relation to CARE. Fundraising, in general, is about stories. We tell a story about how an individual was affected to get people to give to your organization. It's the story that tells that emotion and gets people to be motivated to make a donation. And I think that made a connection in crowdfunding, especially to the millennial generation, because they wanted to get a better sense of what impact their donation is going to have. And if they can say, oh, this project, I was a part of it, I funded it, that's what has attracted them to it. It's the stories that attracted them to that. On the other hand, I should say that one of the objectives in crowdfunding, people talk about the amount of money raised, and I mentioned earlier it's a small percentage of the total. But that's not the only objective of crowdfunding. The other thing to think about is right now it's an opportunity of engagement. You get people to see your organization, whether they donate or not. They see the reference to the name and they recognize, aha, they're doing that in that particular area, and it may open the door to other fundraising opportunities. And that is also something that isn't about the immediate money, but being part of the recognition of what your organization does is another motivation for crowdfunding. Okay. It was too close?
Okay. But Bennett, just please, if we can ask now Burkhard about, very shortly, Burkhard, do you have any experience of such a problem in Germany?
Well, we have the same kind of experiences with commissions, with percentage-based payment as well. In former times, our standards forbid commission-based payments as a rule. In the new guidelines from 2011, we allow these kind of payments, but we have a special ceiling of 50% in case of fundraising services that can potentially put risky pressure on the donors. So in the sense of face-to-face fundraising on the street, for example. So when in this case, a 100% commission-based payment would create a too high incentive for the fundraiser to put pressure on the donors. We say in these cases it has to be sealed on 50%. All the other cases can be paid on a percentage of the success by 100%. Also, internet fundraising methodologies. A second important issue is transparency. So in any case, we say if especially commission-based payments are done in the fundraising, it must be made transparent. And this is quite a challenge in the internet communication, because in the internet communication you are very quick. It is quite dynamic, and we as a standard setting body say, well, but donors have to be informed about percentages before they make their decision. And this at the moment is quite a complicated debate, and the organization understands this, but the development is quite quick, so we have a lot of talks and jointly thinking how this information can be properly displayed on the internet in these various kind of instruments.
Yes.